hop into the next topic, family. Emotional intelligence. Wow. This one is deep because it hits in personal situations that I've been in. And it kind of piggybacks off of the last topic that I just did. But I'm going to talk about it anyway. Emotional intelligence. I think it's sad when you have a full grown person, 40, 50, 60 plus years old, that have zero emotional intelligence. It's heartbreaking. And I say it's heartbreaking for me because I'm such an in-tuned person with my emotions, emotional maturity, that when I see somebody that have that lack of emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, it is mind-boggling. And I literally just talked about it in another topic. How I stayed in the situation far too long, and I knew that I shouldn't have, but I was aware of why I was staying and the reasons that I was staying. I was totally aware of why. But either way, dealing with that particular person, I've never seen it in my life. And the strange part about it is the person asked me one day, why do you relate everything to my age? Even in that was an unintelligent question. Why do you think I relate everything to your age? I'm mind blown that at your age, you act the way you act. I'm mind blown because at a certain age, you like to know or think or believe that people act a certain way. There is a certain level of maturity that has set in and you got life together emotionally. So to even ask me, why do I relate it? Because you act like a 10-year-old. Emotionally, you cry at the drop of every hat. You yell and scream and have tantrums. You are so old. I'm not talking senior citizen old, but I'm talking about past full grown olds. And I've never seen a full grown adult do worse than a 3-year-old in the floor kicking and screaming. I've never seen it before you, is what I would tell the person. So I say it's a tough subject because it's very personal. I dealt with it, and it was hard because so many. Hold on, let me be careful how I say this. There were things, I can't say so many things. There were things about the person I actually liked. Then it turned into, I'm sad for you. So let's take, I really liked some things about the person. Then I'm starting to feel sad for you because this stuff is real and you're not even acting. And I'm such a mental health advocate and y'all with me? And then it was just the toxicity that just was unbelievable. Like, I like you. What I've realized is who you are is sad, and then it's below the belt, bad. So I'm big on emotional intelligence, and I don't think I ever want to meet a person that don't have it. If you're not emotionally mature, that sitting at a dinner table with me and a conversation isn't going your way to the point tears is just running down your face like somebody poured a bucket of water over your head because you are that emotionally immature. I never want to meet it again, ever in life. Mentally debilitating, draining as hell. Stay away from me. Stay away from me with that level of foolishness, please. Wow. Man, I can tell stories for days, but I'm not, because I'm never going to tell a personal story because it's just, again, it's me telling my life story, sharing something that's personal. But if I got to tap into somebody else that struggles with something, and again, everything I've talked about this night, which not intentionally has really related to that person. I've talked about being self-aware. They were not. Emotionally immature, emotionally unintelligent. The person that's such a horrible communicator, everything has to be an argument. Like, I talked about all those topics tonight. Not even intentionally with that person in mind. It was a struggle. It was a complete struggle. And nothing you could do could get it was a point to where there's not even a learning curve with you. That's sad. That's what made it really sad for me. Can't teach you nothing because you're so stuck in your head with all the things that are going on, all the fluff in your brain. You can't even unfluff them. They're just knotted up and twisted up, and you won't even let nobody try. So it was hard to have certain conversations and to make things plain and clear. And because, again, they didn't want to hear certain things, which was a boundary, they were like they never heard it. It was horrible. It was a very horrible situation to deal with because it was a full grown adult. Matter of fact, let me just put this out there because I don't like to say too much to kind of give people away. I don't care if they ever come across the channel and watch the video. I don't care about that because if you're watching it, you see how I'm still protecting your silly self. But I will say this because I don't talk. I don't say certain things that can point to potentially who I'm talking about or the type of person I'm talking about, other than what I'm talking about, right? I will say this: the person was older than me. That's what made it even worse. I say full grown, not senior citizen, but full grown. We don't have to disclose the age. I'll tell you this: they had years on me. They were my senior. We'll say that. We'll say that. We will say that. Older than me, and a complete wreck. So yeah, I must deal going forward in my future with anybody on any level. I must deal with a person who have lots of maturity and emotional intelligence about themselves. It's a must. You can't say hey to me. You can't, well, you can say hey because I won't know much about you at hey. Not much will happen after hey. If I pick up sensitive, emotional, immature, it just won't happen. It won't happen. So how do you feel about that? Family members, you're a subscriber to the channel. How do you feel about that? Share in the comments. Are you okay with a person that's not emotionally? I don't know anybody that's going to say yeah, but let's just try it. A person that's emotionally immature and unintelligent, what would you do with that person? If you're meeting them on a friendship level, there's a love interest, some connection. We're going to move past coworkers because you could be on a job and avoid coworkers. But some close-knit situation that you find yourself, what would you do? I'm interested because I was foolish and I said it in the previous topic. There were things that I liked and I did what I did because there was a benefit to it. And just a comfortable situation, somebody to hang out with. That was a yes person, like, do you want to go here? Yeah. Do you want to do this? Yeah. Do you want to do that? Yeah. It was always a yeah. And so just made it easy. Just really made it easy. But the things that were wrong, and I'm going to say wrong, the things that were not intact on a mature level, they actually did something. Honestly, they actually did something different to me. Wore me out in a way that I never thought I would even allow somebody to wear me out. At the end of the day, because again, covered a lot of topics this evening that spoke to the same individual. and I don't know why I gave so much energy to that. I guess the topics, it just happened to, like dipping chips and dip. It just kind of, the person just happened to dip into the topics that were at the forefront for me to discuss. But definitely nothing I could ever do going forward. And I would have to say I'm glad for the experience. I think a lot of us like to take even bad experiences and find the good in them. If not the good, what was beneficial. If not that, what was a lesson learned. And so I definitely walked away with learned lessons. I absolutely walked away with learned lessons that it's something I would never do again. Never, ever, ever do again. I would help a person with a certain issue or situation, but we can't be connected. We can't be rooted. We can't be buddies. We can't be friends. We can't. I would never put myself through that agony again. And I think if I ever got to a place where the person understood any of the things that were wrong or the things that were draining and exhausting, I probably could have continued to deal on that level, but you didn't get it. The moments were crazy and you didn't get it. You didn't get it, and there was no need sticking around like beating a dead horse. The horse is dead. I can't bring no life back into your brain, your learning ability, your mental capacity. I can't bring no life to that, and I tried. So that's my take on it. It can never happen again. You don't have to be super intelligent. You don't have to be super mature. You got to have a certain level of it to where I can tolerate you. You do. I feel sorry for people like that, and I say that because again, this was a close up and personal friendship, and I felt so, just to be able to talk to somebody and not be able to reach them. I'm gonna close this topic off with this. I took psychology courses. I have an associate's degree in psychology, and one of the reasons why I stopped for about 4 or 5 different reasons. I never went to my bachelor's, master's, PhD, doctorate. I never did that because I felt like, and this was crazy because one of these reasons was outside of school. It had nothing to do with college. All the rest of them had something to do with college, but this was the one personal. I realized in dealing with people in my personal life, and this particular person was after school, but solidified. That's where I'm going. Solidified what I thought. I felt like in school, there was a possibility that you would not be able to help every single person, that you just couldn't help people. So yeah, I realized that as deeply rooted as I wanted to be in psychology, I felt like it was going to literally hurt my heart to not be able to help people that would come in with issues so big, so deep, so whatever, that I wasn't going to be able to help them. I said, school costs too much money. School take up too many years. Going through courses that I didn't want to go through, because you got to go, school is weird. I wish they would structure it to where you just take courses related to what you going. Why did I have to learn about the ocean while doing my associate's degree? I'm trying to talk to people and help people, but I got to learn about the ocean. Like the unnecessary courses you have to take, they fill in. It's just weird. It was just a lot. But I realized in personal relationships, everybody can't be helped. And I said, wait a minute, all these years of school, all this money, and I'm going to get to a place where some people may come in my office as a therapist and I can't even help it. And I know it's a thing. It's just reality. But I want to help. If I'm talking to you and if I'm taking your money and I'm giving you an hour or 30-minute sessions or whatever, baby, I want to help you. I want you to walk out renewed, refined, a different. That was one of the decisions. This was many years before I met this person, okay? I graduated back in 2018 with my associate's degree. I didn't meet this person that far back. So to meet this person and to do the work with this person that I did so many different ways, so many different times. I told y'all in another video, I switched hats, gloves, scarves, coats. I switched underwear. I switched boots, everything, trying to help. And just nothing penetrated. Nothing. You couldn't get through to this person. And that's when I decided. I said, you know what? To myself, you solidify the decision I made. You confirm the decision I made. Everybody can't be helped. And I did not want to go through all those years of training to be a family/relationship therapist or coach of or psychiatrist or therapist. counselor or therapist is what I'm trying to say. I did not want to go through all those years to be a relationship / family therapist or counselor. To constantly meet people that refuse to do the work, or their mental capacity is one that they just can't learn, or they refuse to learn it. And that person helped me to know. Ooh. So I say that to say this. There's always a learning lesson in every situation, even the negative, bad ones, even the ones that are mentally debilitating. There's still a learning lesson, to all those situations. So I learned, I lived through it. I will never do it again. And yeah, again, the person my senior, and just should have been teaching me some things, because you older than me. And I wore myself out. I felt like a complete middle grade teacher with somebody older than me every day, every conversation. It was a lot. We got to pick up where we left off. Card got full. We had to put in our second card. I understood this person was a person that did not understand things that, one, made sense, and two, was anything from a mature state of mind. Every single time I heard, I just don't understand you, it was always me making a mature decision to not deal with drama, or it was just something that was common sense. It was something that was common sense. So I learned quickly, oh, okay, I get it. Every time you tell me you don't understand something, it's me making a mature decision to walk away from foolishness, and you don't understand that. And if I'm making a mature decision, okay, I get it. That's how I learned the many mental health problems that this particular person had. I always yelled at all the time. And again, mine's so small with communication, never even said anything different. Like, why are you doing this? Or what's wrong with you? Or can we talk it out? It was always, I don't understand you. I don't understand you. And I'm thinking to myself, baby, you don't understand nothing. The fact that you want to stand here and argue or just be foolish or be immature or childish, and you don't understand maturity, that's a problem in itself. But sitting it by yourself, I'm out, gotta go. Wow. So trying to level with a person and have a conversation and be mature, whatever, and just can't, because everything has to turn to an argument and I don't know what that is. Like, again, the maturity level wasn't there. If I'm arguing with somebody that I really care about all the time, at some point I would say, this isn't right. And I'm going to say this one last thing about this person. I'm kind of making the topic about a person, and I don't want to, but I have to. It ties into what I'm saying, and it ties into why I'm saying it. So the thing that also ties in is to hear a person say that they can't control or they can't stop what's going on. Like, I know I'm doing this, and I can't stop it from happening. That ties into that whole mental health aspect of, there's so many things going on, and there's so many things going wrong. And to be honest, that was the only thing that they were even aware of. To even acknowledge that was actually something to acknowledge, but it was scary. And I would think the average adult would feel a way if they said that. If they literally opened their mouth and said, yeah, this. But I can't control it. I can't stop it. And so that was just one of those things that let me know that, yeah, again, a person that the communication level is just so off. The only thing you could think is everything has to be an argument. It's whack, and it's very trying, and it's very it's just mentally debilitating to deal with that type of energy and personality. So I'm gonna hop off this topic. If you all want to share down in the comments anything where dealing with an emotional and unintelligent person, emotionally not mature person, what it looks like, have you done it? Was it draining? Was it mentally debilitating for you? Did you want to pull your hair out? All the things, right? Yeah. mine was it was hard. I could talk a lot about it, but again, I don't want to be too much details to be too personal. I want to tap too much into the person because I don't even like giving the person this type of energy to talk about. But it is what it is. We're past it. We're at a place where we can speak if need be. We can communicate if need be. If ever there's an interest of, hey, let's hang out or do something, we can. But that deep friendship and bond, it had to be diminished for several reasons. A lot of disrespectful things happened, violations happened where the cutoff had to happen. Like, yeah, you've done too much at this point. So that's just what happened in that particular situation. So to wrap this up with that particular topic, again, I made it too much about an individual, but it fits. Well, one of the last things I want to say about that is the clinginess part. And this is where one of those statements came from with the I can't stop things from happening, was the individual saying to me in one capacity, when it got to be this clingy thing and this clingy thing, and I'm setting these boundaries, and it's just like, yeah, I can't get with these boundaries. And I'm like, oh, but you can. You're going to have to. But the reason they could get with the boundaries is because of what looked like an abandonment issue of some sort. Like, I just need to cling to you. And to one day say to me, I understand that I shouldn't be doing these certain things, like calling excessively and doing this and doing that. And then me, like this is a child. Okay, then why are you doing these things? And then that was one of the times I got the feedback. It was like trying to have an open conversation. It was, I know that when I do this, it annoys you. It makes you upset. It causes us to be in some type of friction or tension or whatever, but I don't know what to tell you. I can't make my brain stop. That is deep revelation for a full grown person to be able to say that. And it's scary. And I'm like, I've never heard an adult say stuff like that. I've never heard somebody be a little bit aware and say, I can't stop it. That, as mild as that is, because we're talking about just the personality, it makes me go deeper and think about murderers and rapists. Like, you know at some point it's something you shouldn't do, but you commit that act because you can't stop yourself. So that's scary. If somebody's telling me, I don't care you talking about I can't stop arguing with you or I can't stop calling you excessively, it still resonates in my brain on a deeper level, because people who can't stop themselves are those people that go out and commit heinous crimes, and you're like, at some point something tells you shouldn't do this, but you do it anyway. That's deep. So we're going to hop off this topic because, baby, we just going to hop off this topic. If you know anybody like that, a person is just stuck in communication, and their personality seems to be that everything has to be an argument because they just can't figure out a positive, mature way to articulate anything else. So we just got to fall out and have a tantrum. And maybe it makes them no longer be responsible for having a mature conversation. I don't know what it is. But anywho. Share the video if you will. Like it if you will. Drop down in the comments. Share. You know, I always say I don't do it because it's the thing that YouTube says. Drop things in the comments. I like to do it because what you put down, someone else may be able to pick up. Someone else may be able to walk away with something as a takeaway. So, and the takeaway for this video while we're at it would be just that. Like, don't be that person. When someone is trying to communicate something with you, be open enough to realize, understand, have a mature conversation, and don't turn everything into an argument. That's just a suggestion. That's just a suggestion. Y'all don't tell other grown folks what to do. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Keep watching. I'll see you all on the next video. Bye.